Hey guys, thanks for tuning into CMTEQ channel. So this is tutorial 3 on how to integrate the Arduino board into our Raspberry Pi and Telegram chatbot application. So last time we basically were able to send our Telegram chat messages here onto the LCD. So if this is the first time you tuning in, I recommend that you watch part 1 and part 2 before we proceed. But nevertheless, if you insist on watching this part, let me show you how it is working so far before we talk about what we're going to do today. So basically in this tutorial, we're going to add yet another functionality that basically means we're going to control the RGB LEDs that are attached onto our Arduino board here. Because now remember, as soon as you are able to control your Arduino, which is your computer, from your Telegram chatbot application here, you have a gateway that is open for you to do countless stuff. Okay, so first time we were able to send LCD messages. Now we're going to control another thing connected onto the Arduino IOs, namely the RGB's LED. So stay tuned until the end of this tutorial and you're going to see how we're going to achieve that. And once again, please remember to do what the bot is saying here. The bot says you need to please subscribe to CMTEQ channel. That will be highly appreciated. Now, just to show you guys how this application is working, I'm going to run the Python script. And now the bot is watching the script. Okay, now the bot is going to start typing after watching the chat here. No one is chatting anything. Then the bot is going to type, please subscribe to CMTEQ channel. Then comes a user, which is part of the chat group here. And the user says, basically, user, just something like that. And the bot responds, please subscribe to CMTEQ channel. And another user say, send MSG. And then he say, hey. Then the bot say, okay, well, hi from CMTEQ, and then he send the messages onto the LCD. Okay, that's what we did last time. This time around, we then going to, like I said, control the RGB LEDs. Now to do that, we're going to create another function here for the LCD, for the RGB handler. So I'm going to copy this function because it's basically the same function. The same thing we'll do as we are calling the LCD handler, we'll call the RGB handler. But we have to create that function first, okay? So I will do a quick copy here and we're going to basically paste it, okay? Then I'm going to rename this function as RGB handler, okay? Now here, just as we were sending send MSG as a code name here, we're going to change this to basically something short. I'm going to keep it as RGB, something like that. Okay, that's what we're going to send via the serial port. And the message here, I'm going to change it to LED on. LED on. Now we come to this part here. This is where basically we're going to call the function with the dispatcher here, okay? And I'm gonna also copy paste and change this to basically the handshake, okay? So this is similar to what we are writing here, and our handshake here is basically gonna be anything. I'm going to put LED, okay? That's my handshake, and surely we have to rename this to RGB. Are we done with the Python script? Okay, one more thing here. We've got now the serial communication initialization being called twice here. So I'm going to just copy one of them, or cut one of them, and remove this one from here. Then we're only going to call it from one location, which is going to be here. Okay, so we don't initialize the connection all the time. Okay, now I'm sure the rest is going to be as is. Now we are able to then send, we've got a new handshake here that is called LED, okay? And we've got the code RGB. So now let's go ahead and we need to handle it on the Arduino side of things. Now, before we proceed, we need one more adjustment here, that basically the number of letters we are removing. Here we are removing 8 letters or 8 characters. So that was basically the handshake, the /, and the send MSG. So in this function, we're going to remove 4. So that will be the LED, 3 characters, and the /. That make 4. Okay, now let's head on to the Arduino side of things. Now here we basically going to include another condition here. Our first condition is the code message send MSG. We've got a new code coming that's going to be RGB. Okay, so it's basically 4 characters. So we're going to now check for it with what? With the condition of else if. You guessed it. And then I'm going to go ahead and copy this message, okay, and that will going to be pasted in here, and we replace these with RGB. Okay, now just as we did here, we need to remove the 4 character. So let's go ahead and copy that and remove the 4 characters. Now the next thing here is basically to deal with our message. Now what is a message that will be sent? We're going to use the fast LED library to deal with RGB control. So if I open the color palette for this library, we're going to see the usage here. Now there is a function that is used here to set the RGB colors. Now the parameters that this function is expecting is basically the color indexes. So it's going to be almost, let's go ahead and say we're going to send LED, right? And we also going to now pass the characters as 255 for red, let's say 100 for green, and another 255 for blue, and we send it like this. Now the AI chatbot is not running yet, so it does not recognize here, but another user can respond. Now this is what we're going to be sending. Okay, after the chatbot here is going to basically remove the / and LED. That's what we are basically doing here. Okay, then we only going to be left with this. So this is what we need to split now here. Now unlike here, we basically, after removing the send MSG, we dump everything onto the LCD. As you can see here, hey, now the T there is coming from the chatbot message I was displaying there. Okay, so that's where the T is coming from. Now here we need to sort the splitting, right? We can't just dump things like that. So we're going to create integer variable to store these color indexes. So I'm going to create the first one, int for red color, and we're going to say msg pi that substring, and that basically means we are cutting the string that is coming from where we left off, from 0. Okay, because after removing the 4 characters, we're starting with a new string, so our new string will not include this, so which means we can take from 0 all the way up to character 4. That will also take care of the comma here. Okay, that is also going to take care of the comma. So 1 2 3 4. Right, now we're not going to end there, because this is a string. We need to convert it to an integer, so that's going to be 2 to int, like that. Okay, now as always, I'm going to repeat this 3 times, so I will just go ahead and make a copy, something like that. Then we're going to change this here to green, and this will be blue. Great. Now the indexes, or the placeholder for the rest of the variable here it's going to start from 5, and it will go all the way to 8, and here we're going to start from 9, you guessed it, and it will go all the way to 12. Now let me now open the color palette example so that we can see the usage here. Now to make things easier, I'm going to copy the header file and the preprocessors here just as is, and I will paste it here just under my LCD header files. And what next? Okay, we need to do some changes here. First, we're using pin 5. Okay, we're using pin 5, that's fine. And the number of LEDs here, it's 1 2 3 4 5 LEDs, not 50. The brightness, we can change that value to 100. That's enough for us. And this is the array variable that's hold the number of LEDs. Okay, then on the setup, what do they have on the setup here? Okay, I'm going to copy this setup initialization and let's go ahead and paste it here. Okay, right. Now that's basically that. Now I'm going to call the RGB function, okay, by using the array variable that is basically defined here. Okay, so let's go ahead and call the LEDs array, and we're going to pass the first variable, let's say 0. That will be the first LED there. And then we say set RGB. Okay, then we need to pass the parameters here, so that will be red, green, no, small letters, red, green, and blue, something like this. Now let me compile this and see if everything is as is, if there is no problem in this code before we move forward here. Okay, it seems like the code is compiling quite well. Now I'm going to go ahead and upload this code so we can give it a first test run here. Okay, now it's done uploading. Now before we test it here on the chatbot, I'm going to open the serial monitor and I will go ahead and say RGB 255 00 and 00. Okay, so this basically mean green is 0, blue is 0, and red is full. Okay, so that means we should get the red LED on if everything is set as we wanted it. Okay, now we're not getting anything. Okay, I think we are forgetting something. Let me check the palette again here. Looks like we're forgetting something here. Color palette. Where is the void loop? Okay, so there is a fast LED show. Okay, that need to be called to show the LED. No problem. Let's put it there. Something like that. Then we need to load it in again. Okay, just bear with me, guys. Okay, done uploading. There we go. RGB 255 00 00 hit. There we go. The first LED have turned red. Okay, the first LED have turned red here, as you guys can see. Now I'm going to test all of them. RGB 00 255 00. This should give us green. Let's go. There we go, green. Let's test for the blue color. RGB 00, another 00, and then 255, and this should be blue, and we get the blue color. So it seems like our code here is working. Okay, if we need to basically turn all these color on, so what we have to do is to create some kind of a for loop if we want to turn all the LEDs on. So I'm going to say for I, for int I equals 0. Okay, I is less than 5 LEDs, and then we increment I. Okay, then I need to basically put these inside my for loop. So that goes into the for loop. I have left the L behind. Okay. Then we can replace the 0 with the I. Something like this. Now let's go ahead and test it again. Okay, just here, test it again. RGB. Now we're going to test a slightly different color here. And all of them should come on. There we go. All the LEDs are basically on, as you guys can see. Now we're going to now bring the AI into the picture, because the Arduino side of things looks like it is working. Now here on the AI side of things, all we have to do is to run the script, okay, so that the chatbot can start watching our chat environment here. Okay, now as soon as the chatbot started, whoops, okay, looks like the chatbot detected something there because it just turned things on, or I don't know if it's a reset, but we're going to try nevertheless. LED, and we pass 25500 and 00. All should be red. All of them turned red. As you guys can see, all of them turn reds. Now let's try another color. LED 255 255. So this should be yellow or orange. There we go. We get like a yellow or orange color. Okay, now maybe the brightness is too much. We can basically reduce the brightness by putting a 50 in here. Now I'm going to test this with the cell phone application of the Telegram, because remember, you can control this. Since you are able to access the chat, you can write things from your cell phone and also to send instruction. So let's go ahead and try that. Right, so I'm inside my Telegram chat application here. We can see the group as the chatbot is basically sending constantly, please subscribe to CMTEQ channel. Now I'm going to enter a /LED. Okay, then I'm going to pass my coordinate 255, and I'm going to pass 100, and I want to pass 162. I don't know which color this is going to be. Then I hit send. Now let's observe. There you can see the color changes, right? The color change. Now if I copy that, okay, then I replace it, those with a 2, and then hit send. What is it gonna be? It's more like a white color. Okay, so this is basically how this application is working. I'm going to tweak this and on the next tutorial. And if you have any suggestion, you can write on the comment box how we can tweak this basically on the Arduino side of things, or even on the Python script of things. You can tweak it in a way that if I enter red, okay, I should get a red LED on. Okay, now the chatbot here doesn't understand what does red mean, so he's ignoring it. But if we improve our chatbot here, we can basically say pink, and we should be able to get pink. That basically we need to create a lookup table for all the color index to match them with a name, and that's going to give us a necessary color that we want. So this is it, guys, for this tutorial. If you find it useful, please subscribe to CMTEQ channel and give this tutorial a thumbs up. That will be highly appreciated. Until next time, cheers.